PeoriaLife.com.
And welcome to episode number 4 of Scott Wheeler's Airplay, where we go behind the microphone and sometimes the camera to meet some of your favorite radio and TV personalities from across Central Illinois and get to know them a little bit better. Today we're broadcasting or webcasting on PeoriaLife.com, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Peoria TV, which is Channel 17 on I3 Broadband. And today my special guest and my boss, so I'm brown-nosing already, is CJ from Mix 106.9 in Peoria. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Do I get brownie points for this?
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
Good. In my next check.
Yeah, maybe 2 from now.
So CJ hosts the afternoon show on Mix 106.9 from all the way from noon until 8. You are a hard-working person on that air shift.
Yeah, you know, when I first started doing that particular shift, I would leave and my voice was hoarse.
I bet.
It took some time to get used to that length of talking, because some people 4 hours is all they have to do, and I'm like, oh, that's cake. That's just cake right there.
Let me tell you, back in the day, it was 3 hours.
I can't even fathom.
Can you imagine
I would be like, this is nothing. Yeah.
Radio, like everything else, has changed quite a bit.
Yes.
So take me back. You're from Chillicothe, right?
I am, yes.
All right. And you went to Bradley?
Nope.
No. You didn't?
You went to Bradley.
I thought you went to Bradley, too.
No, I went to ICC.
Okay.
Yep.
And were you a radio communications?
But of course. Yeah.
So where did the broadcasting career start then?
Well, that's a long, drawn-out question.
It always is.
So when I was younger, I was obsessed with KZ93.
Never heard of it.
I bet. So growing up, that was just a fixture in all of our lives, in everyone in my age group. And I called up one day and I said, what do you have to do? What do you have to do to be on the radio? And whoever I talked to said, oh, you got to go to school. You got to go to school for our broadcasting. I'm like, all right. Well, I think I was like in the 7th grade when I called, so it was early on. Mm-hmm. And then I was going through high school, and I decided I actually wanted to be an ER nurse.
Really?
Yeah. So when I started ICC, gonna be an ER nurse. It's gonna be great. Until I got to college algebra. And realized it wasn't so great, and then kind of migrated from there and started taking. I'm like, oh, well, there's some radio classes here and some other stuff. So I started taking 1 and 2, and then all of them. And so that's when that all started with school. And shortly after, I got my first job.
Which I remember when working at KZ93, you were a floor director. Was that your first job at WMBD TV?
Yes.
Now tell everyone what a floor director does.
Okay.
It's hard to explain.
Okay, so if you've seen Wayne's World, the movie, it's the guy who's going...
Right.
So that's part of it. And the other part of it is running the teleprompter and using it because you did it with a mouse, this little, I don't even know what they use now, but this little ball mouse where the news people are reading it, because they're really not just staring at the TV to stare at you. They're reading the words of what they're saying off the screen. So you control that. The bad part is you control that. So like if you do too fast, you're like, freaking out. And the funny part is your guest last week, Bob Larson, he was who I started with.
Okay.
He and Shelley Dankoff and Amy Paul. And so, yeah, I started with them, and, they're very kind now. They probably could have said some really not kind words when I first started. Because, it's a lot.
Do Did you ever get the script ahead of where they were or behind where they were?
Oh, yeah.
On purpose?
No. You don't want to do that, trust me. But yeah, it totally happened, unfortunately. Yeah, and with the job with the floor directing, not only did I do some of the evening newscasts, but I also did this show called The Morning Mix, because at the time, KZ had turned to mix.
Right.
And then they did the morning mix, and then they mirrored them.
Right.
So I actually worked on the morning mix for a whole year as a floor director.
Wow.
That's
That's early.
Yeah.
I was there, trust me.
Yeah. Doing morning radio takes a special kind of person, and I am not that person.
Yes, me either. So how did you go from television to radio?
Okay, well, I had started the TV part while I was still in school, and then I was going to graduate, and I thought, well, they need some help on the weekends, and clearly I like to, work a ton or something. And so I started doing the TV stuff during the week and the radio on the weekends. So WMBD radio, same building as TV at the time. Now it's all separated. And I started just running like Cardinal baseball games. But it was different back then because everything wasn't as automated as it is now. So every hour of the day was manned. There was a person there running every commercial break and all that. And so that's where it all began.
So now we hear you on Mix 106.9, but you, CJ Courtney,
that's my real name.
Yes, is a testament to what hard work can do for you in any business, but especially in the broadcasting business. I mean, you've heard that she started as a part-time floor director at WMBD TV, and now her responsibilities are endless. Now, you hear her on Mix 106.9, but you do so much more as a part of Alpha Media for the next 12 hours, changing ownership.
Yeah, at midnight, yeah.
Tell us some of the other things you do at the radio station. This will blow you away.
Well, let's see here. First is the air shift. Yep. On Mix, followed by any video or blogging or anything else that goes with Mix. So then that's first. Then program director of WMBD, WIRL, which is what you're on, and then also doing stuff with G, which is like the urban station also. So it's a whole lotta. I mean, we can dive into what I literally do on a daily basis.
So that's 4 radio stations that you're touching in some way every day.
Yes.
And you're the boss of two of them, and you're on the air, and you're doing all this behind-the-scenes stuff. Do you not go crazy? Do you know what station and what day it is?
Day it is? No. Station? Yes. Luckily, for the most part, I'm only on the air on one station because it's if you ever have to do multiple stations that you start to lose it. Like I just said, I'm on the wrong one. I don't even know what I'm doing. But for the most part, you know that each specific one is catering to a different core of people. I think people don't realize how intricate radio is. I know that people turn on their radios and think, oh, here's a song. They're just sitting there listening to music all day. That's so cool. I wish I had your job. If they only knew that we literally sit in front of computers for hours. And every song that you hear has been researched. It's been tested. It goes into a specific category and it rotates appropriately as it's been set. And it's just the magic of radio for people is a lot of computer programming on the back end.
Now, I guess in a perfect world, would you work on the responsibilities for one station for a couple hours and then move to the next station? And do you segment your day, or does it just all tumble on each other at the same time?
The only way you survive, I would say, a high capacity workload is to seriously stay focused. If you have a task, you work on that one and you get it done. Because if you don't, then you just end up like, I just did all this stuff and nothing is done. If you don't stay with one or the other, you will never leave work at night.
Somewhere in your contract, it must say, and other duties as assigned.
I think it says that in all of our contracts, but somehow mine just keeps adding up and adding up. It's like, do you have time to do this? Sure, why not?
We're talking with CJ from Mix 106.9 et al. And other stations. That's the radio station you hear on every afternoon from noon until 8 o'clock at night. In addition to all that, there's all this other stuff in your life going on. You are a wife.
Yep.
You are a mother of a now, what, 15-month-year-old. You have a mobile DJ service. Of course, you've got work. How in the, you would be, I'm sure for the female listeners in our audience today and viewers, you would be the, how do you get it? How do you balance it? How do you get it all done? Is it the focus thing again?
Yes, but it is, I would say, a level of insanity that some days I wish I didn't stick so strictly to, even at home. Because, so, I get up in the morning. Brooklyn wakes up at 4:30, and then, she does not sleep through the night still. And I get her a bottle, and then we actually cuddle till 6:30. Then we are up. So then it's breakfast, and then I start picking up the house. And I pick up the house until about 9:30, and I mean as you know, there's laundry, everything that you can imagine with housework. I work on it, and then I take her to daycare, and I go to work, and I
switch caps.
Yep, and then I do that, and then come home, make dinner, get her a bath, repeat, die for a few hours, and sleep. And I mean it's a lot. It's a lot. For sure.
So how long have you been doing the mobile DJ service?
3 years, actually.
Oh my goodness. So if you need a DJ for a wedding or a prom or whatever.
All true.
Yep. Here's your lady.
Yeah, we had talked about doing it for years. My husband and I do it together. And we had some friends to do it. Obviously, it seems like if you're a radio DJ, it just works out well that you're a DJ. And we have some friends that do it too, and they needed some a backup a couple of times. And we're like, well, all right. And we did a couple, and then we decided, all right. So then you start buying speakers and microphones and lights, and then before you know it, you're
in business.
Doing bar mitzvahs. Yeah.
So back to the radio thing. The question I ask all my guests here on your play is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you. And we can throw in during a video segment or whatever.
It wasn't during a video segment.
No.
It was live on air. And there's no FCC governance in here. So if I say it, okay. So I'm going to tell
Just be gentle.
All right. Okay. Well,
PG. Use euphemism.
That's not a good idea in this case either. So I'm on remote.
Okay.
And my friend Megan is next to me, and she worked with me at the time. She was doing egg, and I was on the air, and she was just with me at this remote. We did a lot of things together. It was on WIRL when it was classic country, believe it or not. And I'm talking about where we are. We're at this place in Pekin and going through their menu, and I say, I'm like, oh, they have great spinach artichoke, and I did not say dip. I did not say dip. And not only did I not say dip, I tried to correct myself and said the other 3 times. 3 times. And I got over, and luckily she didn't start laughing while I was there. And I'm like, that wasn't so bad, was it? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, awesome. And then the other time, we were introducing a country artist, and his name is John Conley. And I was on stage in front of like 400 people, and I didn't say country. I said something else tree, and they all gasped. So yeah, those.
Bring in the award for most embarrassing.
I'm telling you, I have definitely said some not good things, but not intentional by any means.
Keeps you humble.
Yeah.
All right. But radio and media in general also provide some very special opportunities.
Oh,
so
yeah.
What's some of the most memorable things you've been involved with?
Gosh. Well, last year was really cool. I got to go to New York City
Oh, really?
Yeah, through work, and got to watch The Lion King on Broadway before they brought it here.
Right.
Yeah, so that way I could tell people, hey, go to Lion King. Yeah,
Nice.
so that was obviously, something I'd never been to New York City. So getting to go and being flown out and doing that was super cool. So I would say that's probably one of the coolest things. Another thing is, I guess it is introing artists on stage. Sometimes you feel like, are you going to be nervous? Are you not? But when you get over the nerves part of being in front of people and you actually are on stage and they're like pumped, it's very like exhilarating.
Yes, it is.
And it was in before Charlie Daniels one time on the riverfront, and I was on stage introing him, and I had everyone yeehaw. And they were just hooping and hollering. There was like 3,000 people there, and it was just really cool.
Yeah.
It was a big memory. Yeah.
So one of the other things you do is you are a huge advocate for pet adoption.
Yes.
And you have a webcast of your own called Happy Tales.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great name. So tell us a little bit about how that works.
Well, it all began a few years ago. Obviously, yeah, I love animals. Have 2 dogs now. One a result of Happy Tales, and
If you won't take it, she'll take it home.
my husband, I'm always like, one more. He's like, no room at the end. So I thought, hey, well, why don't we, start doing a video every week, and then I was talking with my boss Randy, and he's like, yeah, okay, well, get some more info and contact some shelters, and it just went from there. Now we rotate five
Different shelters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So every week we have someone different, and they bring in a dog, a cat. We've had a guinea pig, a rabbit, and so yeah, I mean a lot of dogs and cats and guinea pigs and rabbits have been adopted with the help of Happy Tales. And the story about Josie was that she came in, and we'd been talking about getting another dog, and my husband knew he was in trouble because I started like blowing up his phone at work. And not, unless there's something immediate, I'm not calling him, texting him, yes, but like FaceTime and calling. And he literally said he saw his phone, turned to the guy next to him and goes, we're getting a dog. And we did.
So Johnny Carson used to say, working with animals is, it always provides an experience. So kind of like the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you on the radio. Certainly when working with dogs and cats on camera, they always, it seems like they're always sitting very nicely on your lap, but I know that's not true.
No. They're, they come in for a while, and I hold them, and I hold them and try to make them feel at home, and do doggy whisper or kitty whisper for a little bit before we start. But there have been some instances where one cat, I was actually dressed up for Halloween. So we're like, okay, cool. We'll bring in a black cat because it's Halloween and I'm dressed in this hat. Do you remember Beetlejuice?
Yes.
And she's wearing this hat, and it's got this lacing stuff coming down. Well, this hat had that on there. This is like a magnet for a cat. So this cat is like sitting here just for a minute, and he sees my hat, and he's like, and before I know it, my hat is like down here. You're still talking, but it was still funny.
Thought
it was
a
still funny.
Toy.
Well, yeah. I mean, hindsight, but yeah. So that was interesting. And then, of course, we're talking about doggies, especially in a room that has had other doggies. So what do you think the doggies like to do, especially boy doggies?
This is my territory.
Yes. We've only had, knock on wood, one brown accident, and so that's been good.
We have lots of dog lovers in our building.
Oh,
so it helps.
Yeah, they talk about, because it's taped every Tuesday, they refer to it as the best day of the week, because everyone gets to play with whatever comes in.
I'll never forget the time you said to me, hey, I need your help, and we grabbed another guy, and we went down to the parking garage and brought up like 8 puppies.
It's absolutely true.
I love my job when I get to do that.
They were black lab puppies, and I'm like, I need your help. And he's like, well, all right. I'm like, I'll be down in a second. Okay, so I take him down there. We're walking down, and I show him, and he's like, And then, of course, he's texting his wife, like, can we just have one more? One more. Yeah. So, no, and she didn't cave.
No, she didn't. But we do have two.
You do.
We caved at some point. We've been talking with CJ from Mix 106.9, and if you listen to a radio station in Peoria, there's a really good chance she's had her hand on it, and really a testament to hard work. And so here's the lady who really seems to do it all. I know there are days,
Yeah.
but man, good for you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching today to Airplay with Scott Wheeler. We are, of course, on PeoriaLife.com. You can check out this episode and future episodes on Facebook, YouTube, and Peoria TV, which is channel 17 on the i3 broadband system. Thanks for watching today. We'll talk to you next week.
PeoriaLife.com.